Good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome to each and every one of you to Empowering Morning Conversations. And let's continue on our journey, part number 2 of the basics. So, anybody wants to give me a brief 5-sentence recap of what you got out of the session yesterday?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, every day the link will be changed because I
Yes.
tried with September
Yes,
8th.
yes, yes. That is why the date is mentioned every day. So my
okay,
question to everybody is, okay, what we did yesterday, can you give me in 5 sentences what you got out of it? Okay, so we cannot have such a long pause, people on the internet, they don't have that much patience to wait. Yes, Captain Sir.
Yes, sir. So yesterday we talked about we gather so much of knowledge, but we use only 10% of it. So it was about how to apply that and not just get into the auto mode, rather try to be in creative mode. That was one takeaway. And moving out of just the survival mode to having a life of creativity or was another one. Then also we talked about heart and mind, what heart says and how mind tries to stop it, logical mind. And also we talked about dreams and desires, which comes from the heart and how we can convert it to a goal and see the possibilities. So first, basics you talked about, sir. Listen to the heart, find out how to make it possible with your logical mind. Then with your creative mind, convert it into a reality. So
Okay,
these are,
very good.
yeah.
So thank you very much for the recap. The most important point that I was making was that when it comes to our dreams and desires, most of our so-called dreams and desires are nothing but survival desires. Yeah, because we very rarely get to think outside of what is called as the comfort zone. So what is the comfort zone? A zone where all your habitual actions and thinking can easily take care of that, whatever you're dealing with in life. So even when we make goals, all right, they are limited to that. And why? Because most of the time we allow our logical mind to dominate. And one of the components of the logical mind is that it wants to deal with the familiar. It's not very comfortable with unfamiliar. Right? So even before you choose to have a goal, the logical mind might tell you, okay, no, this is not possible. And what I said was, if you listen to your heart, which tells you always what you desire, then you can use your logical mind to find out how you can fulfill that desire. Normally, even before you choose, your logical mind makes you decide, and that process you're very familiar with. Is it possible or not? Do I have the means or not? Blah, 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 pros and cons, and then you give up. Now, let's say you've listened to your heart and you've made a choice. Okay? Now, that's the time. I mean, this is what I want to emphasize in part 2 today, that is the time when you will commit yourself. Okay? You made the choice. Now you're committing yourself to your choice. And that commitment is the key to how much you are going to go forward with achieving your dreams and desires. That commitment. Now, what kind of commitment will make it possible for you to realize your goals and dreams and desires? Anybody? What kind of commitment?
Unconditional kind of commitment.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Now, Malika ji said that. Now let's listen to Reddy Garu. Reddy Garu, what kind of commitment?
100% commitment and to go beyond your comfort zone.
And the willingness to go beyond your comfort zone. Very good. So it has to be an unconditional commitment, which will be 100% commitment, and the willingness to confront and go beyond your comfort zone. Okay. So what is an unconditional commitment? Anybody? Unconditional, non-negotiable commitment.
After committing, we should not analyze whether it can be done or not. We have to commit means we have to commit to that particular decision. Then automatically your logical mind will give you the approach as well the strategy how to achieve that particular goal.
Very nice. Thank you, Belikaji. Now a question to everybody else also now is, what is an unconditional commitment? Unconditional, unreasonable commitment is what is required. What's that? Yes, Tanmay.
So the commitment where I would stick to my commitment, not have any ifs and buts. Even if it seems illogical to go with that commitment, I'll still stay and keep fighting to achieve that commitment.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Anybody else? For you, what is an unconditional commitment? And that was accurate, by the way, Tanmay. See, unreasonable commitment is unwillingness to accept any reason why it is not going to be done. Okay. There's no condition that if this happens, if it is easy, if no obstacles are there, I'm going to do it. Okay, good. Major Narayanan sir, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Sir, it is non-negotiable, sir. No reason whatsoever will be accepted. Once you take a decision, once you have a commitment, you have to go full steam, sir.
Right. Thank you. Yes, Babu.
Good morning, sir.
Good
So,
morning.
Unconditional commitment is the commitment which one has taken become the focus, the center, and everything around in life revolves around that commitment. That commitment doesn't revolve around the life. That commitment becomes the center, and life revolves around that.
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much for sharing that. And it's all accurate, right? But now there is a next step here, which sometimes, or most of the times, we ignore. Okay. Once you have committed yourself, you may want to look at conflicting commitments also. Okay. Or something which looks like a conflicting. What is a conflicting commitment? Another commitment which conflicts with the one that you have. So one commitment a lot of people have, they are committed to being comfortable. Okay, they're very committed to that. Effort nahi karne ka. There are some people who have a conflicting commitment called paisa nahi kharchne ka hai. Okay. If I have to spend money to fulfill my commitment, I am not going to do that. That's a conflicting commitment. Any other conflicting commitments that will interfere with your main commitment to fulfill your desire? Think about it. Every one of us has some conflicting commitment or not. Like one guy wanted to make a successful business, right? Completely committed. He didn't even realize he was more committed to showing that he's a great businessman rather than, earning money from his business. So he was not earning money from his business. So if you have a commitment called, I will be a successful businessman, right? But you have no commitment to earning money from that, and you have a commitment only to looking good, then is that not a conflicting commitment? So even while you're framing your goal statement, it will not be very accurate if you have a conflicting commitment. Yes, Abhinav.
A lot of conflicting commitments in my life. Like one is being comfortable, not taking risks, then being nice, always trying to win approval, or being nice is a huge one, and then always trying to win people's approval. Fearless sachai, what is the truth is what people will say, not really what is the truth, there's no truth. So all these are conflicting commitments in my case.
Exactly. So now the point is, then can you call your main commitment as an unconditional commitment?
No.
Because you'll always say, provided nobody get upset with me, I will
Yes.
definitely keep my commitment, provided, there is no risk involved.
Yeah.
Definitely fulfill the commitment as long as I am not put to any discomfort.
Yeah.
Then, in that case, are you going to fulfill or achieve your goals and desires?
No.
Right. So we need a mechanism to deal with these conflicting commitments, right? So the good news is that people who come to the EMC, we are dealing with those in different ways every day. That is one of the big interferers we have, right? That interferer will not allow you to use your full potential. It will not allow you to focus your attention, 100% energy on achieving the goal that you have. Because all these other things are coming in the way of that. See, if I'm unconditionally committed to something, I will have to use all my resources. Correct? My energy, my attention, they are also my resources. If money has to be invested, that is a resource. If I don't have money, I have to find the money, right? But if I'm not willing to take the risk of getting an investor, then will I be able to fulfill my commitment? Depends on what you're committed to, right? So we need a mechanism to deal with conflicting commitments. Some of them are actually not conflicting commitments, but we see them as conflicting commitments. Like some people say, I will either take care of my health or I will take care of my commitment. You can do both. The possibility that you can take care of your health and 100% take care of your business also, or whatever your commitment is, it is there. Like some people say, either I will look after my family or I'll look after my business. And they use one to justify not doing in the other area. But you can do both. It needs you to come out of your old way of doing things. Right? Our old habitual way of doing things. What happens? You give up one thing in order to do another. So, if you are really committed to your goal, a sensible, practical person, make a list of all the obstacles that are going to come in the way of that. One obstacle is called conflicting commitments. So once you are very resolute on your main commitment and you've taken care of your other commitments, because some of those other commitments are important, like your health is important, your family is important, your well-being is important. How many people have sacrificed their well-being for their commitment? So when we are committing, it's a conscious decision that, look, these are important commitments. All of them have to be fulfilled. But something which stops me from fulfilling my main commitment, I have to find a way to deal with that. You with me so far? Now, that is the time there is another thing. If you have an unconditional commitment, there is a second thing which has to be there with it. Can you imagine what that is? Don't give up. Don't give up. See, the problem is that the killer of many great commitments is that when obstacles come, there is a tendency to slow down, get discouraged, and eventually give up. And even worse than that is you are discouraged and you are now not working with 100% commitment anymore. Because in your mind, you already given up. Yeah. So what is the next step? Or next important thing to keep in mind? Commitment is there, unconditional commitment is there. Identifying conflicting commitments and dealing with them is there. And then comes very, very clear, whatever might happen, I'm not going to give up. Or surround people, surround yourself with people who will not let you give up. So if you're a lucky person, you will have a wife who will never let you give up. If you're not a lucky person, you will have a wife who will keep telling you, "Ki bhaiya, who asked you to do it? You shouldn't have done it. Why do you do such things? Why are you putting yourself into trouble unnecessarily?" So at least have one or two people who are there to encourage you, push you forward. And by the way, EMC is a tool that you can use. If you're engaged in a big endeavor, being in the EMC will help you not to give up. Now, I was reading somewhere that an average billionaire, an average billionaire has become totally bankrupt 3.5 times in his life. Yet they became billionaires. Now, can anything be worse than becoming bankrupt? No, no. But the quality these guys have is every time they fall, every time they fail, they get up and run faster. Normal, ordinary people, what do? Every time they fall, they get up and the speed becomes little bit slow. But these enterprising people, every time they fall, they get up and run faster. So they have created a very healthy relationship with something that is called failure. People like Thomas Alva Edison. Somebody asked him, "Sir, how do you feel that you failed 3,000 times to make a filament of the bulb?" And that guy says, "Who says I failed? I learned 3,000 ways of not making a filament." So enterprising people, clear commitment, unconditional commitment, not allowing conflicting commitments to overpower them, and they don't give up. So that's as far as I will go today. The balance we'll cover in part 3 that will come tomorrow. But let's look at one big thing that happens to many of us is that we give up. A whole lot of people may give up just a little bit before success comes to them, Like if you're climbing a mountain peak and it's 1,000 feet tall, the summit is 1,000 feet, and many people will give up at 900 or 850. All they needed to do was go on for a little longer. So we start with great enthusiasm, we start with great commitment, and then at some point, just if you continued for a little while longer, success would have come, but you gave up. So guys, maybe you want to reflect a little bit and see in your life how many times you gave up. Some people give up even before making a commitment. Yeah? अभी निर्णय लिया ही नहीं है, पहले ही छोड़ दिया, नहीं मेरे से नहीं होगा, I can't do this. That's one giving up. And the other one is you made a commitment, you started working on it, right? And some big setback came, and then you said, no. नहीं होगा. If you'd continued for a little while longer, success would have come to you. Can you recall any instances like that in your life? Then it might have happened. If you just carried on for a little while longer. So don't give up. So when there is a setback, what happens to people? Why do they give up when there is a big setup? Why do they give up when there is a series of setbacks, series of problems? What happens to people that makes them want to give up? Do you know why people give up? Anybody wants to make a guess? Yes, Malika ji.
They become weak. Their self-motivation getting lost.
Very
There.
true.
They
Very
need
true. Very
Thank
true.
you, sir.
Very true. Yes, Tanmay.
The mind asks them to go to the default mode, survival mode.
The mind takes them to the survival mode. Yeah, very right. Yes. Abhinav and then Raj.
सर वो जो लैंडमार्क का डिस्टिंक्शन था ना बीइंग वाला, sometimes it is the being that ki, I'm going to be unsuccessful. And why talk about business and career? Why not love? So there is a girl in my company who has left now. Where I was working earlier. Her being was, I could clearly see that her being was that nobody will love me.
Okay, fine.
तो जो भी कमिटमेंट वो बनेगा तो वो बीइंग से तो छुटकारा जब तक नहीं होगा तब तक बात नहीं बनेगी ना.
अच्छा हो सकता है. Okay, very good. Thank you very much for sharing that. Yes, Raj.
Namaste to those people who joined us later. I feel that basically sudden absence of the commitment, unconditional commitment, because as long as that unconditional commitment, when I say unconditional means when you put condition, okay, if it when that desire overtakes or overpowers your logic or logical mind, then you start following the mind, your heart. But to achieve it, you need to have an unconditional commitment. And unconditional means there will be something which will be pulling you out because your ultimate objective is what you want to go there. There will be hiccups in between. Those should not pull you down. That should not. So with this kind of a commitment, when we go, that unconditional commitment, and you say that just when we are about to realize the fruit, we give up because we don't realize the fruit is so near. Had we seen the fruit so near, we will not have given up. Obviously, that is the time your logic overtakes your desire, and that unconditional support becomes conditional now. He says, I agreed with you, you went ahead this far.
I got it. But you know what? At that time, logic doesn't take over, na? When a person gives up, if he was using his logic, then he would, track his performance and see, okay, there is an improvement. That means I'm going towards my goal. He's tracking his performance, right? But he wouldn't. So there's something other than logic happening. Thanks, Raj, for sharing that. Yes, Vetrivel. But good point.
Sir, it is similar to Raj sir already shared. Judgments becomes bigger than dream. Then
That's right.
he stops.
That's right. When he starts judging himself and the situation and other people involved in it, lot of judgments will come. And then blame will come. And one very interesting thing happens. He will start resisting that situation. See, when a setback or an obstacle comes, nobody says, wow, it's a setback. It is chance for me to learn something from it. What can I do better? He doesn't do that, right? Resistance comes up. What is resistance? When your mind is saying, this should not be happening. Why is it happening? Every time it happens to me, right? Why can't it be smooth sailing? You are resisting. Now, another thing happens. That time, where should the attention, energy, and focus be? You should be directing everything to say, okay, there is a setback. Now what? Where should I put my attention and energy so that I resolve this situation? But instead of your mind and attention going to that, it is going into blaming, complaining, resisting. Therefore, if that situation was to tell you something, I mean, I've been through that in a business that I started, right? We did so much work. I was a pioneer. I didn't know anything about that business. I learned it. I did it, but we were not making profit at all. So I was, you heard that story, na? Somebody lost a key somewhere and he's looking under the lamppost. Somebody asked him what happened. I lost my key. So the other fellow also started looking for the key over there. But the other fellow was a sensible guy. After some time, he says, "Where did you lose your key?" He says, "Sir, I lost it in the kitchen." "Then why are you looking over here?" "Well, sir, यहाँ पे light hai. There is light here. That's why." So this is what I went into. So I was resisting that situation so much that instead of looking really with an open mind at the root cause and learning something from there, I didn't do that. I jumped to some other conclusion coming out of my resistance. Okay. That we are not getting enough business and there's too much of credit that we are giving, blah, blah, blah. Actually, the problem was that our pricing was not profitable, right? I did not get a cost accountant to, calculate what is the cost and the pricing should be. My pricing was decided by competitors. So obviously I would lose money. So point is, people give up when they lose their attention and focus from the goal. And at that time, just like Raj had said, now the unconditional commitment has become conditional, right? Logic has also failed. Your heart is saying, no, 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 you've bitten off more than you can chew. I don't think you can do it. So resistance, yeah. And like Vetri said, judgment starts, and that's why the resistance starts. Okay, that is where we are. So what do? Don't give up. By giving up our resistance, you may discover possibilities for action. Now, we'll be talking a lot about possibilities tomorrow. Yes, Reddy Garu.
No, I just want to admit that I lost many opportunities because I don't want to come out of comfort zone and take the leads. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, guys, so that's what we did today. We were saying unconditional commitment, then dealing with conflicting commitments, right? Third is don't give up. It's very important to know what makes someone give up. It may be different for different people. We know ourselves very well, right? We know, okay, if this thing happens, I'll give up. So have a mechanism to deal with it. Definitely do not allow yourself to judge yourself when there is a setback, there is an obstacle. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge others. And do not fall into the trap of resisting that situation. Because believe me, every setback is very useful because it's teaching you something valuable. I always say, Providence does not give you anything without a reason, without a purpose. It's like a nudge, Hello, wake up, guy. This is something you're not looking at. Yeah. And always remember this one. I'm going to say something as a last sentence for today. And that sentence is, every experience is an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. So when there is a setback, that is also an experience. It has not come to stop you. It has only come to teach you. So don't give up. Okay. And tomorrow we will do basics number 3, where we will talk about something called possibility search attitude. Okay. So before we close the session, Colonel Saab, Babuji, dheere chalna, zara shairi sunana.
Yes, sir. So the one is, गुनाह कुछ ऐसे हुए हमसे अनजाने में, गुनाह कुछ ऐसे हुए हमसे अनजाने में, फूलों का कत्ल कर बैठे पत्थरों को मनाने में. So the translation would be, I made some crime, I made some mistakes in without unintentional mistakes in my life, wherein फूलों का कत्ल कर बैठे. You know, I discarded the flowers. I killed the flowers of my life in a way to take care or
No, I
to
was so
Trying
busy
to please the
dealing with,
stones.
yeah,
Stones.
I
I
was
killed the
busy-
flowers trying to please the stones.
the
That's
stones.
right. Beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And before we go, let us do 100%